punished for bike stunts. It was a bright Saturday morning in the suburbs of Manchester. The air was crisp, and the narrow street outside the small row of houses was unusually quiet. For Daniel, a 20-year-old with more energy than sense, this kind of day was perfect for one of his favorite pastimes, riding his bicycle in the neighborhood and showing off stunts. Daniel's father, Mr. Harris, had warned him countless times about the dangers of reckless cycling. He had seen too many accidents in his own youth to know how quickly things could turn bad. But Daniel was young, restless, and always eager to impress. To him, his father's warnings sounded like nothing more than the dull speeches of an overprotective parent. Daniel wheeled his bike out of the driveway, its polished frame shining in the morning sun. He wore a plain gray t-shirt and navy shorts, with a pair of sneakers scuffed from constant use. Running his hand over the handlebars, he smirked to himself. Today, he muttered, I'll nail that one wheel all the way down the block. The habit of showing off. For weeks, Daniel had been trying to perfect his one-wheel stunt. It was the kind of thing his friends found hilarious and daring. Whenever he pulled it off, even for a few seconds, cheers erupted. And Daniel loved that attention. It made him feel unstoppable, like he was the star of the street. This morning, a few neighbors were outside, an old couple trimming their hedges, children bouncing a ball, and his two mates, Ryan and Josh, hanging around near the corner. When Daniel rolled out, they waved eagerly. Go on, Dan. Show us what you've got. Ryan called out. Daniel grinned, mounting the bike. Watch and learn, lads. I'll ride this street like a pro. He knew full well that his father had told him never to attempt such stunts again. Just last week, Mr. Harris had caught him trying to balance on one wheel and had warned him sternly. But warnings meant little when excitement ran through Daniel's veins. The dangerous attempt. Daniel positioned his bike at the top of the quiet street. He looked ahead, scanning the smooth pavement stretching toward the main road. He tightened his grip on the handlebars, adjusted his balance, and with a sudden push of his foot, began pedaling quickly. His bike gained speed, the tires humming against the asphalt. Neighbors turned their heads, children paused their game, and Ryan and Josh watched eagerly. At just the right moment, Daniel yanked hard on the handlebars. The front wheel lifted off the ground, and the bike tilted onto one wheel. For a few glorious seconds, it worked. He leaned back, arms stretched, his balance steady. Gasps and cheers broke out. Yes, Dan. Keep it steady. Josh shouted. Daniel smirked, heart racing. For those seconds, he felt invincible, like he had mastered the art his father said was foolish, but pride has a way of blinding reason. The accident. Halfway down the street, the bike wobbled. Daniel panicked and jerked the handlebars too sharply. The front wheel slammed down hard, bouncing against the pavement. The bicycle swerved violently. Before he could recover, the bike tilted sideways, and Daniel was thrown off. He crashed onto the rough road, his palms scraping against the asphalt. His body slid a short distance before coming to a painful halt. Oh, several neighbors gasped. The ball dropped from the children's hands. Ryan and Josh ran over, partly worried, partly struggling not to laugh at the clumsy fall. You all right, mate? Ryan asked, holding back a grin. Daniel groaned, sitting up slowly. His knees were scraped, his elbows stung, and dust clung to his shirt. Still, he wasn't seriously hurt. Only his pride had suffered, but then came a voice he dreaded hearing. What in heaven's name do you think you're doing? The confrontation. Mr. Harris had been standing at the edge of the driveway the whole time. He had seen everything, his son's reckless stunt, the crash, the neighbor's alarm. And his face was thunderous. Daniel froze. He tried to stand up quickly, brushing the dirt off his shorts, but his father was already marching toward him. "I warned you, Daniel. I told you again and again to stop this nonsense." Mr. Harris barked. The neighbors pretended not to stare, but curiosity kept their eyes glued to the scene. Ryan and Josh awkwardly backed away, not wanting to get caught in the storm. "Dad, relax," Daniel muttered, trying to play it cool. "It was just a bit of fun." "I'm fine." "Fun?" Mr. Harris's voice rose. "Scraping yourself across the road? Terrifying half the street? You think this is fun?" Daniel swallowed hard, his cheeks burning. Being scolded in front of everyone was humiliating. "You're coming with me," his father said firmly. He grabbed the bicycle by the handlebars, shoved it into the driveway, and gestured sharply for Daniel to follow. Head hung low, Daniel obeyed. He could feel the stares of the neighborhood on his back as he walked beside his father. The discipline. Inside the house, the atmosphere was heavy. Mr. Harris leaned the bike against the wall, turned to his son, and folded his arms. "I've warned you more times than I can count," he said, his voice cold. "Do you think my words mean nothing? Do you think risking your neck for attention is clever?" Daniel avoided his eyes, shifting uncomfortably. "I just wanted to show the guys, that's enough." His father left the room briefly and returned holding a wooden paddle. Daniel's stomach dropped. He knew what was coming. "Dad, come on," he started, but Mr. Harris cut him off. "Bend forward. You need to learn that disobedience has consequences." Reluctantly, Daniel bent forward, his hands braced against the arm of the sofa. His father stood behind him, paddle in hand. The first swat landed sharply against Daniel's backside. He flinched, a hiss escaping his teeth. Smack, smack, smack. Each strike echoed through the room, firm and deliberate. His father didn't strike in anger but with the steady rhythm of discipline. "This is for ignoring my warnings." Smack, "This is for endangering yourself." Smack, "And this is to make sure you never repeat this foolishness again." Smacked. By the time it ended, Daniel's backside was sore, and his pride even more bruised than when he fell off the bike. He straightened up slowly, rubbing himself and staring at the floor. The aftermath. Mr. Harris set the paddle down and sighed heavily. His anger had passed, replaced with something else. "Concern, Daniel," he said more softly. "I don't discipline you because I enjoy it. I do it because I won't stand by and watch you destroy yourself. One slip on that road and it could have been much worse than a scrape." Daniel nodded slowly, shame weighing heavily on him. He realized his father was right. The fall had been a warning, and the punishment only drove the lesson deeper. "I'm sorry, Dad," he whispered. "I won't do it again." "You'd better not," Mr. Harris replied, though his voice was calmer now. "Respect your life. Respect my words." That night, Daniel sat quietly in his room, the sting of both the pavement and the paddle still fresh. He thought about how easily things could have gone wrong, how one wrong move could have left him in the hospital instead of just with scrapes. He promised himself then and there that the days of showing off on one wheel were over. He would ride his bike, yes, but responsibly. And deep inside, though he would never say it out loud, he knew his father's discipline had saved him from a far worse.